Today we're going to review the data protection features of BrickStor SP, which includes immutable snapshots and replication. Right here, I'm in Hub Central and I'm connected to 3 instances of BrickStor. So right now already there's bidirectional relationships between 72 and 189 and 189 and 63. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to create that peer relationship between BrickStors. It's as simple as clicking, say add connection, and I'm going to draw that over to here to make that connection here, and I can make it bidirectional so that they can each replicate to each other. I'm going to choose the IP that I want to target. You would see multiple here if it was something where you had multiple VNICs or IPs on the machine. So now I go and create that, and we can see we have that bidirectional relationship showing up there. And we go down here and we see more details about these peering relationships. This icon here indicates we have data replication configured, and the key replicates that we're encrypting or sending key material between them. So you can use this function to replicate or backup key material from one BrickStor to another. So if I wanted to configure that here, I can quickly go here and then configure key sync. I can say all keys in this case, and then required or best effort. Required means if the node is down, it will not allow you to create a new key or something that requires a key or change keys. Best effort means it'll allow you to do that, and then it'll sync up when the peer becomes available again. So now we can see we've configured that, and then we see the highlighted key show up there, and we can see that we're online and syncing. I want to show you configuring replication on a data set. So I'm going to go over to here, pick one of my data sets. And so we have this one here, which is Project Stealth, which has a bunch of data in it. So now I'm going to hit configure, scroll down to auto snapshot replication, and click enable. So now I'm going to replicate, and now I have to choose a target or 2 or more to where I'm going to replicate to. So I'm on the 72 host, so I can target this 189 over here. I can also target, if I want to have it go into 2 locations, 63. So now we'll replicate to both of those places. And I just have it as a priority medium right now. You do have the ability to set the priority for each data set you're replicating. I hit save changes. And now essentially we can see that we have the snapshots pending to replicate. And so we'll start to see this start to replicate quickly. So now we can see that it's transferring. And we can actually go over and look at the transfer logs and what's going on in real time. So I'm going to go to data protection. And over here, I get a top level view, but now I can actually go and look at the outgoing replicas and what's going on. So we can see from here what's transferring. So we see that Project Stealth is replicating to 189 and 63, and we can see the progress that it's making. And you can have multiple streams in progress at the same time. And eventually they'll catch up and they'll be in sync. You can also look at the transfers in progress, which will show you the active transfers, or you can go to the transfer logs as well. So this shows you what's happening over time. So you can see that over this period of time of a few days that we've sent 1,229 snapshots representing about 17.6 gigs of transferred data. And you can get the details of, what data set and what snapshot was sent when as well here. Now, under auto snapshot policies, we can look at the data protection policies that are associated with each storage profile. So in this case, we have 2 storage profiles we're using, the general file system and the VMware virtual machines. And we can see that there's 11 data sets currently that have the general file system storage profile. And we can see the snapshot periods and retention. So for the interval snapshot, we're taking a snapshot every 15 minutes and retaining the last 30 snapshots. And then we're taking a daily snapshot and retaining that for 5 days. And you can see, and so on with the weeklies, monthlies, and the yearly. So if we determine that, hey, we want to change the policy across all of these, we can configure that data protection policy right here. So let's say maybe we determine that 15 minutes isn't really required anymore. We're going to do a snapshot every hour. And so now we're going to do it every hour and keep the last 30. And I'm not going to change any of the other ones. I could also, if desired, have a longer retention policy for my replicas. So maybe I have a flash system. I don't want to keep as many snapshots on the primary tier, but I want to replicate to the backup or the replicated instance of BrickStor, and I want to keep those longer. So I can actually configure this to have more of those kept on the far side, for instance. So if I make this change to this policy, it's going to save it. And it's now going to apply to all 11 of those data sets there. And if you look at that, you can see the data sets that have that policy. So we can see how they're configured and what's happening right through here. Now, if we go to an actual data set, I can show you the configuration there as well. So I'm going to go to this Project Stealth data set. I'm going to click down to Auto Snapshot Policy, and I can see that it's a general file system, right? So it's deployed like we want. We can here edit that policy as well, or we can choose to use a custom policy. So let's say if I configure this and I determine that, hey, this particular data set needs a different data protection policy than what I would normally use. So I can click Use Custom Policy here. And for this case, maybe I do want to have the every 15 minutes, and I actually want to keep 60, and I don't want to have an alternate retention policy. I can do that. And now when I save these changes, we'll see that this has a custom policy for it. And it all ties into that auto snapshot replication as well. And we can see this is still transferring along like it was before.